we need to talk about the butterfly effect.
It was like Tommy was possessed or something. There was a hate in his eyes.
No, I do not mean the movie with Ashton Kutcher. In 1973, a Nobel Prize was awarded to Nico Tinbergen, if I'm saying that correctly, for his research about animal and human behavior. He had spent over 30 years watching, hypothesizing, and testing many types of birds, insects, fish, and people. He wanted to see how natural behaviors were triggered by visual stimuli. What he discovered was something terrifyingly insightful, what is called a super-stimulus. So what Nico did was he took a cardboard box and drew a large butterfly on it, but not just any butterfly. He painted it with exaggerated markings and colors in accordance to that specific butterfly species mating choosing signals, essentially creating the butterfly version of an AI-generated supermodel. Foreshadowing. Then Nico took his sexy cardboard cutout supermodel and put it on a stick and placed it amongst the real butterflies. This is when something very interesting happened. Turns out, the male butterflies were more attracted to and stimulated by the cardboard cutout supermodel butterfly because she was larger and more colorful than the real ones. The males even started neglecting the real female butterflies to instead attempt to mate with the phony cardboard woman.
Okay, this is insane. I am a real person. That is a pillow.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Pam, I'm so sorry.
Now, I don't know if this is the first time that you are hearing about super-stimulus research or not, but I don't think that we fully grasp the scope and gravity of the situation. I don't think we understand the consequences of the stimulus that we are all being exposed to every single day, and often not even by our own choice. Of course, the first implication or parallel to Nico's research that we will think about is probably going to be about pornography, which has been proven scientifically to be highly addicting and has catastrophic consequences on the human brain. I think that one is pretty self-explanatory. One thing that I will say for those of you who are struggling with porn use, one idea that helped me was thinking about how in nature, the strongest and most desirable animals mate. So if I sit around watching other people participate in sexual acts, then that is conditioning my brain to the admission that I am a low-tier, undesirable human who slinks around in the bushes getting off to watching other people do what I will never have access to. Now, I don't know if the shame and ego tied to that idea will help you specifically, but it is very hard to counteract our most basal natural desires and drives, so you have to figure out what works for you. I digress. Superstimulus is not limited to sex and porn. It has a butterfly effect on everything. Superstimulus is the secret weapon of consumerism and capitalism. It is the drug being sold to the public to create a society of addicts because there is nothing more profitable than addiction. It is in our food, combining sugars, carbs, and fats in completely devious yet delicious ways that do not exist in nature and so send our brains into unnatural states.
Sis, try. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is in marketing. It is in the formula of what makes short-form content like TikTok and YouTube Shorts so addicting. Studies indicate that the average person spends between 80 to 95% of their free time behind a screen. So imagine the sheer amount of superstimulus that is being pumped through our eye sockets constantly. Social media is beginning to make real life almost obsolete. Our phones have become the phony butterfly. And before we have realized what has happened, our reality begins to pale in comparison to all of the bright colors and perfect lines that we are being sold. Super stimulus is so pervasive that it infects everything that it touches, and it touches everything. If you're familiar with my content, I often find myself talking about modern relationships and the trench warfare between men and women today, and also about hustle culture and self-improvement. And all of it is infected. For example, when we look at the lifestyles of the 1%, the tired conversation about high-value men and women and materialistic gold-digging women, and about needing to be over 6 feet tall and a multi-millionaire, about never having to work an average wage job and living a life of leisure like a celebrity supermodel, etc., etc. All of these things are cardboard cutouts. That is the super stimulus. That is what we are comparing our relationships to, each other to, and ultimately ourselves to. And it is folly. Anyone who is trying to mate with the cutouts or trying to become the cutouts or thinks that they will never be worth anything if they are not as perfect as the cutouts will all fail. Such people all struggle deeply with ego issues, with insecurity, and with comparison. They will become the addicts and the agents of consumerism. Super stimulus holds the keys to some of the greatest lies in the modern world, lies that are destroying our very ability to find meaning and fulfillment and satisfaction and peace. And who stands to profit the most? Whoever can create and sell the most cardboard cutouts to the average person.
Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
This concept is also one of the things that makes video games so addicting as well, especially for men. I used to play for hours upon hours every day in my teenage years and early 20s because a game can sell you a cardboard butterfly. In the game, you can be the hero, the courageous adventurer, the warrior, the professional athlete. You can achieve great things for very little sacrifice and risk. You can socialize in multiplayer games. You can choose how your character looks, and you can find acceptance and avoid rejection and social anxiety. You can be all of the things online that you are not offline. And slowly but surely, the colors of reality begin to pale in comparison. Our impotence and limitations become frustrating and unfair. The struggles feel painful and overwhelming, and real life just feels pointless and dull, so we numb and stimulate ourselves to escape it. It's crazy. It's almost like we have to constantly be chasing some sort of altered state, whether it's through video games or materialism or eating sugar or posting pictures for online validation. All of this is just to deal with how unattractive reality has become in our minds. We are chasing cardboard butterflies that are impossible to catch. But maybe if we are intoxicated and distracted enough, we won't notice the difference.
Beer goggles. See the world through the eyes of a drunk. Wow!
You're charming the pants off of me.
What did you say, Aunt Selma?
I said take off those damn glasses.
My challenge to you is to try to observe the world in a new way today going forward. See through the matrix. Try to see if you can find the cardboard butterflies in your life and environment. Awareness is the first step. But I am afraid that we might be fighting a losing battle. I think the unfortunate truth is that many people will not escape their prison cells made of cardboard, especially as AI continues to advance so rapidly. So this is my message in a bottle for those of you who are meant to find it.
Butterflies.